So, remember that wonderful underdog story that I said was bigger than the flashy action-packed fight scenes? Well, throw all that out the window because today we are ranking every single fight from the Rocky franchise. And this includes Creed, of course. Creed Love. I could just do a ranking of all the Rocky films and be boring, but everyone knows that the original Rocky would be at the top, then followed by Rocky 2. Actually, no, sorry. We're not doing this right now. And when I say every single fight, I mean every single fight. Seriously, not a single one was missed. I can promise you that. Some were earth-shattering and worth the rewatch, and some were glorified pillow fights. So put your headgear on, take your gloves, because we are going to be breaking down all the punches thrown throughout the infamous Rocky series. And stay tuned for a surprise tier list at the end. To properly rank each of these brawls, we are going to be taking into account 4 main pillars of each Rocky fight. Number 1, importance. How important is the fight? Is it gonna lead to something else down the road? Is it the ultimate build-up of the entire movie? Whatever it is, that is what importance is.
Be back in a minute, all right?
2, brutality. How brutal is this fight? Is blood everywhere? Is people's noses getting broken? Or is it just a single punch or weak punch that seemed like I could have taken? I am a T-Rex, so I can take these punches. But anyways, 3, emotional impact. How emotionally significant is this fight? Is it a tearjerker? Does it give me goosebumps? Does it make me want to run out and do push-ups, etc.? That stuff. And then finally, choreography. You'll see in this video some of the earlier fights aren't as well choreographed as others. Punches don't connect, so I'll be taking into account that stuff. Now, let's get straight into it. Rocky is a great movie with so much soul and heart. It is way more than a boxing movie, which is funny because all we're going to be talking about is boxing. But anyways, it's very touching. It won 3 Oscars for Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Film Editing. If you want to hear my thoughts on the movie, watch my previous video where I talk about what makes it bigger than a boxing movie. Okay, now it's time for the first fight. The beginning scene of the whole Rocky franchise. Great start. I love how the first frame is of Jesus because it underlines what Rocky continues to stand for no matter how much hate he receives. Rocky is not Jesus, let me get that out of the way, but with his constant faith, things get better for him. But seriously, Jesus got top 1 most aura of all time. Anyway, sorry, to the fight. To be honest, this is a strange fight to open the movie with. And its age definitely shows. I mean, this movie did come out in 1976, I have to check. But there's barely any sound effects, and it's just a weird, silent boxing match. None of the punches seem to connect that hard. I mean, come on. I want to hear some testosterone, some grunting, some bones breaking, all of that shit. Come on! Come on! But anyways, Rocky locks in towards the end and sets the table for what is to come, displaying his heart and passion as he takes down Spider Freak. Oh my gosh, what a goofy name. Anyways, it's not an important fight, not very good choreography, but it earns points for being the first fight, and that headbutt was pretty alarming. D tier. Now, the next one is a major upgrade. Rocky versus the pole. He absolutely owns his pole. It stood no chance. The finesse, the carnage, the guts it took to stand against that thing, like, come on. Absolute as F tier. I'm joking. I'm not gonna rank every single time a punch is thrown. Come on. That would be a long video. Okay, so now on to Rocky versus Meat. Rocky's strongest opponent in his fighting career isn't any human. It's the terrifying, treacherous, tenacious, tasty clump of meat. He never knocks it down, not once. Throughout the whole movie, never knocks it down. Come on, that's gotta count for something. I mean, he even broke its ribs. Paulie said so.
You're breaking the ribs.
Very impressive showing from one unlikely hero to another. They were such respected opponents that Rocky even sponsors the meet in the super fight. With all that said, D tier. It's still an iconic moment where people remember it years after the movie was released. So for that, I bump it up a few points, and that meet could not be broken. Like, damn. Wow. Okay, back to normal fights. The first super fight. Lots of the punches are reminiscent of the first fight of the movie. They just don't seem believable enough. Major plus of the fight, you can feel the body shots through the screen. I love how Rocky's whole MO is going for the body and wearing you down because you aren't gonna wear him down, ever. Like, what a beast, come on. But what truly makes this fight one of the greats, the one that started a franchise, is the fucking music. Let's fucking go, I love this shit. Bill Conti absolutely cooked with this soundtrack. All the way up to the last round, you can feel the tension and intensity build. A major reason for that is the music. The gradual buildup of the trumpets in unison with the fight is an amazing touch. Overall, a fantastic emotional roller coaster of a fight that started a franchise, but it has some flaws in choreography. I'll be the first to admit that. B tier. Okay, on to Rocky 2. And for Rocky 2, we got the Super Fight 2. Believe it or not, this is the only fight of the whole movie here. But don't worry though, this is the one anomaly for the Rocky films. Just you wait until Rocky 3. Oh my goodness. I'm getting scared just thinking about it. Oh. Rocky goes through the whole movie handling his new fame, healing from his injuries from the last fight, and the birth of his child. It's another heartfelt story, as Rocky, who doesn't want to fight anymore, has to face the fact that he must keep taking the blows if he wants to give his family a better life, regardless if it means sustaining permanent injuries in the long run.
Now look here, Willie. Now tell me.
I see it.
At the end of the day, anyone who came to see this movie came for one thing only: the rematch. Can Rocky win this time? Well, I'm sure you know what happens, but let's rank it, boy.
Play that funky music now.
First off, Rocky is dripped out. Hello. That black and gold is amazing. Fantastic.
Say that again?
I also love the unease that the movie builds up for this fight, because Rocky goes through the first movie fighting southpaw, but he trains this movie to be right-handed, so the tension in the first round is definitely pretty high.
Don't go back to fighting southpaw till I tell you. Now you get him, see?
The punches are much more believable this fight, and they added sound effects. Thank goodness. I couldn't stand that silence in the last fight. Oh my gosh. It makes me feel the power of these punches through the screen, and I love it. I also enjoy that signature 80s nostalgia of the slow motion with the low frames. Such a staple of that time period. I mean, I know it's older, but it's honestly iconic. It is. Similar to the last fight, Apollo is pumping Rocky.
Whoa, 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 hey, hey!
But that dude is a tank.
You can beat him because you're a tank, kid. You're a greasy, fast, 200-pound Italian tank. Go to him. Run over him.
It's insane how long Rocky stands for. Can't believe it. And then in the final round, he switches back to southpaw, which is, first of all, insanely impressive. Have you ever tried to do something with your offhand, let alone learning how to play a sport with your opposite hand? Like, seriously, go brush your teeth with your offhand right now. Good luck. Hands down, though, the craziest part of this fight is that in the final round, they both fall down. I remember watching it as a kid, and I was in shock. Literally so stressed, and I'm getting stressed just talking about it. But the stallion stands tall. Absolute cinema. This was one of the most exhilarating fights I've ever seen. Importance, 10 out of 10. Choreography, 10 out of 10. Brutality, 10 out of 10. Cinema, absolute out of 10. No debate. S tier.
Yo, Adrian! I did it!
So, Rocky 3. Remember how Rocky 1 and 2 was all about family, discovering your purpose, and to persevere in life despite all its hardships? Yeah, throw all that out the window, because from here on, every movie is all about fighting. Rocky 3 alone has 7 fights, or 7 in my classification. There's a few fights at the beginning of this movie which are really short to count as fights, But you get the gist at this point. We do it all. Nothing is slipping through my fingers, even though I can't reach my fingers together. But anyways, I can barely see the fights, but I love the yellow shorts and gloves he's got. I mean, can you tell I'm a fan of yellow? All of his opponents fall in 1 or 2 punches. I mean, it is a montage, but still, I mean, extra points for Eye of the Tiger. Like, I don't know about these fights, but also 6 title defenses. Rocky was steamrolling these bums. Overall, good montage. One of the best intros of the franchise with Eye of the Tiger. Has some cool brief moments of action, but none are full extent fights. But it's still better than the first church fight in Rocky 1. D tier. Same idea with the last, more montage fights, and I get that they are trying to communicate this guy's a force to be reckoned with, but this punch is so obviously fake. Come on. A lot of these are more single punches than fights. D tier. The meat was a cinematic masterpiece. I do not care. The real rivalry of the Rocky franchise. Rocky versus Paulie. These two beef it out in every single movie, so I'm glad they finally square up. Paulie does throw some solid punches here, but Rocky is just too quick. I mean, I would hope so, but Rocky embarrasses him so bad that he asks for a job.
Can I have a job?
Sorry, I should censor that word next time. My bad, guys. D tier, above the meat. I love how the meat is just a basis for everything now. Rocky vs. Thunderlips. This was an entertaining and very unexpected fight. I enjoyed it. For the stage that the Rocky franchise is in, I think it was expected that cameos were in place.
Thunderlips is here. In the flesh, baby.
Oh my God.
Rocky is basically the best wrestler of all time. I mean, his record is 1-0, 100% win rate. Mick screaming, "Run for your life," cracks me up every single time.
Run for your life!
So funny. This fight is basically a huge meme, and if you don't take it seriously, it's great. Paulie throws a chair at Hulk Hogan. It's hilarious. I love it. Anyways, Rocky finishes the fight by throwing Thunderlips out the ring, and the chaos is over. Honestly though, great marketing for the WWE at the time, because this was a riot to watch again. At the end of the day, entertaining fight, unexpected turns, but nowhere near beneficial to the story in any way whatsoever. So for that, C tier. Also, rest in peace to the GOAT, Hulk Hogan. Now, into the real boxing for the film, thank goodness. Oh my gosh, so many fights in this movie. Rocky agrees to fight Clubber Lang after he successfully rage baits him at his new statue. Rocky's head's not in the right place. He's engulfed in the fame, and it's all about attention, sponsorships, and more. He has lost the Eye of the Tiger.
He said it! He said it!
Rocky's even more thrown off when Clubber Lang rage baits him again. Like seriously, all this guy does is try to get a rise out of you. It's hilarious, but it's insane. He succeeds again, and Mick gets some sort of a heart attack or something, I think, and Rocky's head is out the game again, even more so. This is just a tough fight to watch because there's no heart or soul on Rocky's end, and his mind is distracted. He gets his ass whooped. Definitely the hardest opponent he has faced so far, besides the meat. But this needed to happen because plot. Light work, no reaction for Lang. To LA for Rocky to rediscover himself harder than all the popular girls from your high school. C tier. At the end of the day, the biggest battle is always versus yourself. And I mean a giant metal version of yourself. F tier. After Rocky rediscovers the Eye of the Tiger in LA by training with Apollo Creed and getting some sweet feet, Rocky is way more determined to show that he's still got it, and he decides to face fear head on. Also, Sylvester Stallone is in the best shape of his life here. It's insane. Like, hello. Wow. I like the message here to conquer your fears and rise to your destiny, but if you want that theme in your films, then just go watch Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, or Avatar, Last Airbender, all of that. Still great nonetheless though. From the first moment these two line up, they are locked the f in. Who would have thought after training with Apollo Creed, he would actually look like Apollo Creed in the ring? Stallone's ability to bring Rocky to life in each of his final fights through his specific training methods is extremely impressive. For example, First in Rocky 1, his inexperience as a fighter is highlighted as he looks extremely clunky, but even more so, his determination shines. Stallone communicates this through his sloppy movements deep into the fight. In Rocky 2, it was his switch to fighting right-handed, and now he adjusts his character and fighting style once again by becoming a much more quick and fluent fighter with Apollo's touch. Just thought I'd highlight the man for a moment. Well done. Back to the fight. Rocky looks graceful in the ring, and now he has become the master rage baiter.
Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Ain't so bad. Come on. Come on, ain't so bad. You ain't nothing. Come on. You must be crazy or something. I'm crazy. You just a stupid fool. Maybe you crazy something. I ain't breathing heavy.
The only thing Clubber Lang has changed is the volume of his grunts.
I might believe the strategy now. He's making this stuff. You see how he drew it?
This fight is loud. The punches are loud, the grunts are loud, and the quality of my speakers has declined. Despite all these theatrics and how strong Clubber Lang was, I never felt like Rocky was in danger of losing. Rocky just seemed like a much better fighter at this point in time. He was way quicker, way more skilled, and honestly, as much as he thinned out, he's still just as strong as Lang in my opinion. Clubber Lang caught him on a bad day in the first fight, but when he's locked in, no one can beat the stallion. B tier. This Rocky film's in my top 3 for 3 reasons. The music, the training montage, and the final fight. I don't think there is much else to this movie that would make me like it, honestly. Adrian and Rocky fight again for a good portion of the movie. Rocky wrestles with retirement again, and he ultimately decides to fight to avenge Apollo. The writers know at this point that we are just here for the fights and training montage, so they literally created the most overpowered human creation of all time in Ivan Drago and throw him right in Rocky's direction.
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
But anyways, at the end of the day, the fights for this movie are fire! I still cannot believe that the Russians invited the American press over to demonstrate Drago's power. And after this demonstration, Apollo still decided to fight him? That's plain stupidity in my opinion. Like, holy midlife crisis. Apparently the average heavyweight boxer hits with 700 pounds of force, while Drago more than doubled that with 1,850 pounds of force? And this goes up leading into his fight against Rocky. You're telling me Apollo wouldn't have heard about that? Yeah. After further research, I cannot get behind whatever Apollo was thinking. Like, I want whatever he is smoking. Wow. Anyways, to the most brutal fight I have ever watched.
You need an interpreter? It's time to go to school. You will lose.
It's seriously so difficult to watch, and even harder after Carl Weathers' death. May he rest in peace. The intro to this fight just shows how naive Apollo was going into it. I understand that it's his style. He plays with excitement, finesse, and a little bit of swagger, but I would like to think he did a little research on his opponent beforehand.
Be back in a minute, all right?
That's incredibly sad. At the end of the day, Creed's biggest downfall was his cockiness.
Right, kid, don't get penisy.
It was showcased when he fought Rocky for the first time, and it is even more glaringly obvious in this fight. You can feel Drago's punches through the screen, and the fact it only takes 1 round to get Creed into that rough of shape is insane. It's so hard to comment on this fight because it's so brutal and painful to the soul. Top 10 worst ways to go out for sure. Anyways, the brutality of this fight set up the ultra fight between Rocky and Drago. And for that, I give it bonus points. However, Apollo would never stood a chance, so I wouldn't put it higher than that. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers once again. B tier.
Another one.
The stakes are set. The tension and fear created from the previous fight is through the roof. Knowing that everything could go so incredibly wrong scares me so bad. The violence, the brutality, the emotions, and the fact that if Rocky doesn't bring his A game, he could literally die. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Remember what I says back there about wanting to be you? Yeah. Forget it. Thanks, boy.
And for these reasons, this fight is peak. By the way, this is a long ass fight. It spans for almost 15 minutes. And I love that. Rocky is so obviously weaker than him, and he just continues to eat these punches. He's literally fighting an opponent who is invincible. But Rocky is the embodiment of the indomitable human spirit. Bro will not give up.
You see, he's not a machine. He's a man. Nieprawda.
Adrenaline through the veins. No pain.
No pain.
But we all know there's no amount of strength, speed, power, agility, or skill that would rival Rocky's signature move of blocking punches with his face. This is one of the GOAT fights. So inspiring, so much power, so much grit, great choreography. An ultimate David vs. Goliath fight. S tier for sure. Okay, now, shelve all your expectations because everything that you ever knew about the Rocky movies is gone. Woohoo! Yeah! Round of applause. It's gone. This movie's boring, pointless, and I don't really get much of a message or lesson from it, except to not neglect your kid. And also don't help people, I guess. Like, he helped Tommy Gun on the street, and now he's fighting him in the end, I guess. I don't know. I don't have words for that. Basically, Rocky comes back home from Russia. His brain is mush, and now he actually retires, finally. Jeez, I hope he doesn't turn 60 and decide to try fighting one last time, despite his old boxing friend doing the same thing and dying. Are you f***ing kidding me? Rocky comes to find out that his accountant mismanages his finances. What? And he loses all of his money. Wow. Now that is what I call lazy writing. That is utterly absurd. Oh my gosh. There is no way Rocky would lose the heaping amounts of money he had from around 9 heavyweight world title defenses. I also checked his estimated career earnings in the 80s. I calculated for inflation and everything. And it would be around $20 to $30 million. How do you lose all of that? Not to mention the sponsorships he had in Rocky 3. It just insane. I hate this movie. I hate this movie with everything I have. It just spits on everything else that the franchise worked so hard to create. Okay, Rex. If the movie's bad, the fights have to be great, right? Oh my gosh. Starting out strong here, we've got a little kid getting his ass beat by another little kid. Now this is what we want to see.
Now this is pod racing.
One swift punch and this is over. Rocky Jr. probably had the best character arc of this movie. Seriously. F tier. Yes, the meat is better than this. I do not care. This was probably the one thing I could appreciate about this movie. The location and parallels of this fight. That's it. Tommy Gun, Rocky's new boxing apprentice, starts his boxing career the same place that Rocky did. The basement of the church or club, I don't know where it is. But they both started there, and I thought that was a great touch. Now, I'll say this. I hated Tommy Gun. He was just an angry character to begin with. But one thing I got from the story was that two people can live identical lives and end up completely different on the other end. And I think this can be seen with Tommy Gun and Rocky's stories. They both started the same place, got similar coaching and support, but one ends up being a cocky douchebag with no respect, and one ends up being the most likable character in the history of cinema. Wait, maybe I did get something from this movie. Shoot. But anyways, that was one of the only things that I took from this film. Oh yeah, by the way, this fight is mid D tier. This is what I was talking about with character arcs. Rocky Jr. in the background of Tommy Gunn's winning montage was training this whole time with Paulie. I mean, Paulie didn't stand toe-to-toe against Rocky, so.
Merry Xmas, yo, yo, yo.
He was hitting the bag, nose to the grindstone, all for the rematch against the Kid Thug. He's back. Why are there so many Kid Thugs in Philadelphia? Seriously. Remind me not to go to Pennsylvania. Rocky Jr. low-key lets him have it. He dodges his punches and beats him so bad that his boys scramble. And he ends up getting him to give his jacket back. Bro was in his bag. But then Rocky doesn't give him enough attention, so he becomes a goth kid for some reason. Into the meat tier. D. This guy is so uninteresting to me. I just can't. I don't know. I just can't do it. Also, I don't know why I have this in here, but he throws one punch and it's over for each of the montage fights. I mean, at least like some of the Rocky fights, some people were fighting back, but I don't want to talk about this anymore. F tier. Woohoo! Yay! Okay, real fight now. Woohoo! Yay! One word. Boring. Yes, Tommy packs a punch. And it's also cool that he was a former boxer, but still, it felt inevitable that he was gonna win. No stakes, no resistance from the champion, and we were honestly way more focused on Rocky than Tommy in this moment. Also, Tommy is just such a dick.
I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to thank the man who made this happen. And I'd like to thank the man who made me believe that all this could happen. The man who's been like an angel on my shoulder. Mr. George, what's that do?
D tier. Oh my gosh. The most real thing that Paulie has ever said in the Rocky movies, ladies and gentlemen.
Rocco, you ain't worth it, buddy.
You fought a great fight, you know, Paulie.
The ship is sunk, Rocco. It's sunk. Huh?
And boy, is he right. Because now, Rocky is a street fighting movie. Awesome. There's no intensity or stake to this fight. The only stakes are that Rocky's head doesn't explode from all the brain damage he has. But apparently, that doesn't exist anymore because we have another movie after this. So buckle up for that. Like, this isn't a happy or epic win. This is just concerning and sad. For some reason, the Rocky music starts playing and Mick starts appearing in hallucinations. And yeah, Mick hypes me up. I love it.
Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you.
But this just had no feeling of a Rocky fight. Like, Rocky has got him in a headlock, punching the back of his head here. Why is he pulling out the leg sweep move? This is not a Rocky fight. Of the two wrestling matches of this franchise, this is by far the worst. And doesn't Tommy know Rocky has brain damage? Like, seriously, Tommy is such a dick. Get in the meat tier. Only reason this isn't F tier is because of the random Father Carmine appearance. Despite Rocky being one of the biggest hypocrites of all time, I actually enjoyed this movie. I felt like this was the best Rocky movie since Rocky 2. I say this because I like how it wasn't centered around fighting the whole time. I would be lying if I said I didn't like these movies for the fighting, but I also like how they focus on the struggles of everyday life too. And this movie did that way more than Rocky 3, 4, and He Who Shall Not Be Named. So Rocky is still living in Philadelphia. His wife Adrian has passed from cancer, and he now owns a restaurant. His son is working a finance job and wants little or nothing to do with him. Rocky barely has any purpose anymore. His son hates being in his shadow, but Rocky still is kind time and time again. He runs into Little Marie, and if you don't remember who that is,
Screw you, creepo!
he continues to be kind to her throughout the course of the movie. This is the kind of heart we missed out on for the last few movies. Rocky would never abandon his son like he almost did in the last, which is another reason why I hated it so much. Oh my gosh, I can go on and on. But this is why I love this movie. Rocky barely knows Marie anymore, yet he continues to be kind and also helps straighten out her son in the process. This movie communicates a good lesson. Be kind to those around you just because you can. You don't need a reason to be kind. And also, don't blame the world for who you are. Make a name for yourself. It's no one else's fault for your situation. Amen to that. However, why the hell is he fighting again? He's 60! Rocky is 60 years old in this movie. And you are telling me a 60-year-old can stand toe-to-toe with the heavyweight champion of the world? We quite literally got to see how this would play out in real life. Here are the stats from that fight. Yeah. But hey, it's Rocky. So anything is possible, I guess. It was tough to count this one because it is so short and so brief, but this technically was a fight. It was just over too quickly. I also don't think that the slow motion punches at this camera angle do it justice. It just looks weak and that anyone could eat that punch from Dixon. D tier. Getting a little crowded, oh my gosh. Wait a minute. What's that? Wait. Where's Paulie taking him? Oh my gosh, the meat is back. Let's go. Gonna fly now. Yeah. Let's go. Glory to our most high meat tier. Above S tier. Let's go. The best fight of the movie and the best monologue of the Rocky franchise. Which I'm actually surprised I can say that, because you'd think at this point that Rocky would have more monologues under his belt. But there aren't any that stand out to me more than this one. This argument is one of the reasons I like this movie. It's a statement that can hit home with anyone.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Those are the lessons I enjoy Rocky for. Sadly, this monologue is in every high school lacrosse mixtape now, but it's still special to me. Anyways, I don't think I can count this as a fight. No punches were thrown. I just wanted to highlight it. Top of F tier. Okay, now for the final fight of the film. The moment that I actually was not looking forward to. I just knew watching this fight for the first time it was going to be ridiculous for how hard they nerfed Dixon. This fight, however, does feel very fresh and new compared to the others, since it's the first Rocky movie in 16 years. And I like the idea of it being a modern day fight for about 30 seconds. Then I got annoyed. A real Rocky fight, we would feel like we were in the ring. We would hear those punches so much more. And we would hear the two calling each other bums. But this just feels like I'm watching an event on pay-per-view. Also, the fade to black cuts from one shot to another just feels like I'm watching Jake Paul fight some goofy bum off the street. Anyways, let's analyze the action. The sounds of the punches just seem slightly off at times, not to nitpick, and they add the punch effect sound when they obviously don't connect.
Letting it all go.
And when they do, they don't seem powerful at all. But damn, I do love those body shots from Rock. Once the fight got over itself being a pay-per-view, they really upped their game. The editing and visual effects are very eye-catching. The black and white shot with the blood still colored is sick. So gritty. I thought the ending to the fight was a little anticlimactic. No tension or excitement for the possibility that Dixon was gonna go down at some point. And it kind of looked like a sissy fight at the end there. They were both just swinging. I don't know if I liked that. Overall, good movie, decent final fight with cool editing and visual effects, but lacks in the fighting aspect. C tier. We have finished the Rocky movies, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Round of applause for yourself. Round of applause for yourself. Those fights really got out of hand. Now, on to the next stem of the franchise, Creed. Creed was like a breath of fresh air. I think they handled the modernization of boxing much better than they did in Rocky Balboa. The fights are bright, fast-paced, and feel like real boxing matches. Let's just hope the main character doesn't throw a haymaker to random people every 15 minutes. I'm gonna come out and say that the amount of fighting that Adonis does in these movies makes it really hard to root for him. Yes, I get the fact he wants to be like his father and that it's in his blood to be a fighter, but bro just be beating the shit out of random people for no reason. Kinda irritates me. But anyways, let's see what he does here. Nice! The violent kid story arc. I love it. Okay, now we have an important question to answer. And I can't believe I'm doing this. Which kid fight is better? Rocky Jr. or Adonis? And I'm gonna say, I like Rocky Jr. because there's build up, he has a reason to fight, and he makes this kid his little so first Creed fight falls in bottom D tier. Okay, now into boxing. First boxing of the Creed franchise. Adonis starts his career by fighting in a club similar to Rocky and Tommy Gun. It's just a staple at this point. Adonis is in Mexico trying to up his skills so that he can become a fighter one day like his dad. His first opponent is Nacho Varga, and bro had no business standing there against him. You can already tell by the first fight, it has a much better choreography compared to the others. In these films, it's clear when punches connect and when they are blocked. Of all the intro fights for the 3 main boxers, if you even count Tommy Gun, I think that Creed's is by far the best. C tier. Now Donnie's got Rocky in his corner, and he secured his first real fight against the salty trainer who didn't mess with Rocky because he just didn't want to coach boxing after boxing almost killed him time and time again. The cinematography of this fight is much different than any of the Rocky fights. This is that in the ring feel I was talking about. The camera is right next to these fighters' faces, so it feels like we have exclusive access instead of TV broadcast angles. For the fighters, Leo is definitely a skilled opponent, and we can tell from the way this fight goes, but Creed, or Johnson or whatever his name is in this stage, keeps asking for more. I also noticed, I don't think there's more than one cut in this whole fight. The camera just floats around all the people in and outside the ring. And I think that is a great touch. A mini 1917 moment. Great movie. Great fight, immersive, engaging, and well choreographed. Just doesn't have the highest stakes or emotions, but you expect that for a first official boxing match for Creed. I mean, Johnson. B tier. And back to his old ways already. Dude is so mentally weak. I can't. Just so frustrating. He punches this dude for calling him Baby Creed. Like, yeah, I can understand that he doesn't want to be in the shadow of anyone else. But 3 more people pull this line on him and they get the same reaction. Like, come on. If I was in the ring with this dude, I would just call him Baby Creed and it's over. Like, he's out of control. Game over. Crazy. Anyways, good punch on the defenseless dude. Great job, Adonis Donnie Creed Johnson. F tier. The first main fight of the Creed franchise. And it's a good one, for sure. I would say great. Colin is definitely a great opponent. And the fact that Tony Bellew, I think I'm saying right, Tony Bellew. Alright, I'm just gonna call him Tony. The fact that Tony, the man who plays Conlon, is a former professional fighter, adds to the authenticity. And he won the ABA Heavyweight Championship 3 times. The skill and speed he has in the ring feels accurate to who his character is. Conlon's not the strongest fighter, but he makes up for it with his skill and speed, and it's fun to watch. But what is he wearing? Are you kidding me? Is that a tunic?
This is not a dress, this is a tunic.
Zesty. The punches also seem so real, much more than any other film to date. And that's due to the quality camera angles that make it difficult to see errors. You can even hear the bone cracking sound effect when Adonis hits the body. It's awesome.
Hard left hand to the body.
The fact that Michael B. Jordan took a real punch in this fight is also so epic. Keeps the spirit of the Rocky franchise alive. I love it. And his shoes are tough. Respect. One of my favorite moments of the fight is in between rounds. Adonis gets his eye demolished and the ref is trying to test his vision and he cannot see anything. Nothing. But the doc gives him taps on the back of his head to tell him how many fingers he's holding up. Like, come on. Get that man a raise. Let's freaking go. I love that. And then the Rocky music starts playing. That is when you use the Rocky music. Let's go.
Anybody?
Throwing body shots like he's Rocky Balboa. Going upstairs like he's Apollo Creed.
Who let Max Kellerman cook? That's so fire. What a great fight. Watching this back was such a treat. And don't be blinded by nostalgia. These fights are fantastic.
Say that again?
The visuals, the action, the authenticity of each punch, and the callbacks to the original are perfectly done. I love it. Don't hate me. Do not hate me, but I gotta go A tier. I don't have the heart to put it up there with Rocky versus Drago. The stakes were way higher there, and I think it was way more intense. Great start for the Creed films, all in all. Creed 2. I was very excited to see this movie as I felt it was a full circle redemption battle for the Creed family name. Yes, Rocky defended the name on his behalf in Rocky 4, but this felt different. Adonis, being a Creed himself, gets the chance to get revenge and redemption against the Drago household name. I think that evil Mark Andrews is a terrifying opponent. Almost as scary as Ivan Drago was in Rocky IV. The fear of his power is demonstrated in a few mini-fights against some poor fighters who didn't expect to get brain damage from an underground club in Ukraine. I am still more scared of Ivan than Victor, as killing a man in the ring is much more terrifying than just beating up on some people with no business being there. Overall, this was a decent movie. I like the mini arc of the Drago family as they come to realize in the end that there is more to life than boxing and being feared. I didn't expect to feel bad for the Dragos, but I kind of did in the end. They were engineered to have no love, no emotion, or fear in the ring. Only victory or else.
I must break you.
Anyways, let's see Drago give some brain damage to some poor souls. This guy is mean. You can tell from the short 30-second fight that he put all of his force and power into these punches. And his signature, I'm gonna call it his signature. His signature look back over his massive shoulders is frightening. Not much to say though. This fight was over before it began. Good job at showcasing Victor Drago's power. C tier. Creed finally gets a title shot after all his hard work. And who else than the guy who took his Mustang from him in the first movie? Hilarious reference. I get why Donnie lost him in the first movie. He wasn't as experienced as he is now. But this dude was not all that.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Small, weak, and slow. L opponent, W Mustang, cool lights, top of D tier. Ukrainian fighters need to pack it up the way Drago is beating the living shit out of them. 2 uppercuts to the frontal lobe. See ya, pal. Barely a fight, but hilarious to see Drago body bag these fools. More than Dexter Morgan.
Are you sure?
D tier. Drago is just too big, too strong, and too angry, if I haven't said that yet. This early in the movie, everyone knows Creed's gonna get demolished, no question. Drago shatters Creed's ribs easily, and then Drago takes a cheap shot at Adonis, disqualifying him from the fight. This was the most one-sided fight I've seen since Apollo versus Ivan Drago. I don't know if they were doing that on purpose, but if so, well done. Slightly more PG, thank goodness. I couldn't watch another fight like Apollo versus Ivan. Thank goodness. Anyways, not that exciting, but scary because you're just hoping that no one dies again. C tier. Why does every boxer get so many rematches in this franchise? Is that a normal thing for boxing? Rocky fights Apollo twice. Rocky fights Clubber Lang twice. Creed fights Ricky Conlan twice in Creed 3, which will be ranked momentarily. And now Creed fights Victor Drago twice. I'm not sure how common that is in the sport, but I feel like if you fight them twice and you each win once, then there should be a third match, right? That's a 3. Let me know in the comments because I don't really know. I don't want to get it. Maybe some fighting fans out there let me know. Let's rank Creed versus Drago 3. Wait, this is the second one. I'm an idiot. Well, if you count Apollo versus Ivan, that'd be 1. And then the one we just talked about was 2. After training in the desert because they wanted to copy Rocky training in the mountains in Rocky 4, and after Drago lobotomizes more sparring partners, the second fight between the two is underway. I love the strategy that Creed and Rocky take in this fight. It feels very planned out and that their training is paying off. Creed used that toe-to-toe training style that he did in Egypt or wherever he was to be ready for Drago's in-your-face style of fighting. I think that was a great touch, but things get ugly quickly, to be expected from every Drago fight. Drago takes another cheap shot at his ribs, Rocky considers throwing the towel, and Creed goes down in the next round. But when he arises, his resolve has never been stronger.
What's your name?
Creed! You're damn right it is. Let's watch Donnie kick some serious Russian ass right here. Boom, right hand, protecting the ribs. Wind up, left hand. 1-2, shove him against the ropes. See ya, pal. What an absolute animal. Another good touch is the opposition of character dynamics and motivations from one corner to another. Creed is fighting to win, and he's fighting for his family out of love and passion. Drago is fighting out of anger, hate, and fear. Not that either of them are the good or bad guy as we see towards the end of this fight, but my takeaway is that it's always better to do something out of love rather than hate or fear.
Everybody love everybody!
And that's why the Drago's mini arc is great, because Ivan realizes he cares more about his son than the glory and respect of his country. Great fight, very exhilarating, and so tough, yet surprisingly touching. No son should have to suffer for the sins of their forefathers. I gotta do it. I loved this fight. I gotta do it. S tier. The final movie of the franchise. Let's f***ing go. But seriously, we did it. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Is anyone still there? Creed 3. A very mid movie. I like the idea of the movie being more centered around Adonis and his story instead of being tied to Rocky and Apollo's legacy. But an idea means nothing if it's executed poorly. I didn't really get anything meaningful out of this movie, except to not trust convicts, I guess. Adonis is a convict too. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But at the same time, there was barely anything to hint at the fact that Dame was hustling Donnie the whole time. I mean, it's supposed to be a twist villain, I think. Yet, anyone who went to see this movie knew that Dame was the final fight because it was on every trailer, promotion, or poster. I don't think their fallout was that cinematic or entertaining at all. Also, why wouldn't Adonis be happy when Dame wins the belt? It's his childhood best friend. Didn't they dream about this? I think that the real villain in this movie isn't Dame, but Adonis and his mistakes, which in my opinion makes the final fight less meaningful. Dame just wanted a life, so he shoots for the only chance he's got, boxing. And then Adonis puts him back in place by beating him.
You're going right back to where you came from.
Kind of cruel in my opinion. Yes, Dame was out of line for hurting Mark Andrews before the heavyweight fight, but that was about the only thing he ever did wrong. The plot of this whole movie only exists because no one tells the truth to one another. If his mother told him about the letters and didn't hide them from him, then none of this would have happened. Not only that, if Adonis told Dame that his mother kept the letters from him, like after finding out, without his consent, he could forgive him and everything would be okay, maybe? Maybe that's a possibility, but then there would be no movie. These are all hypotheticals, but still, I'm not convinced with what this movie is trying to sell. But let's see some hands thrown one last time. Starting out the movie strong, we've got Adonis being an absolute problem child once again, sneaking out of his home. What do you know? Yeah, this kid's the greatest. We get introduced to Dame, his childhood friend, who will be the final fight of the movie, which we got spoiled for us. I need to seriously stop watching trailers or even looking at posters, I guess. I could make a whole video on why they just make a movie more disappointing than it already is. I mean, have you seen the trailer for Revenge of the Sith back in 2005? Go look that up. It's insane how much is revealed in that. Anyways, Donnie is a D1 glazer at this point in his life, and he is all over Dame and his famed status as one of the best young boxers of his generation. We get the first fight of the film in another underground boxing club, which seems to have the best upkeep of the underground rings that we have seen in the past. So if there's a tier list for that, S tier. Both fighters are wearing headgear, so there's a little less fear of someone getting hurt. This was another extremely quick fight. That's the first punch. The very first punch that Dame lands is his knockout punch. It was obvious that these two young actors were not as trained in boxing as Jonathan Majors or Michael B. Jordan. And for that, this fight lacks speed, power, and intensity. But they are just teenagers, so what did you expect? D tier. Oh my gosh, I am so sick of this kid. He needs to be locked up. Seriously. I still have no clue why he took the most random swing at some dude named Leon. Being named Leon is bad enough. Sorry to all my Leon fans. Way to kick a dude when he's down, Donnie, for f***'s sake. F tier. This was hella random to me, and right after watching Donnie beat up another poor soul for no reason, I was not feeling this fight. Creed announced this is his final fight before retirement, and I kind of like the sound of that because go back to the first fight that started it all these years later. I kind of like that. However, we all know no one retires in the Rocky franchise. Pretty Ricky watched this video and got insecure about his tunic, so now he's back to normal trunks.
Conlon is banging away with the right hand.
Conlon is what? This was a decent fight. I'll say it again. I think Tony Bruh, being a real life fighter, makes Conlon that much more of an authentic opponent and threat. Even though he is past his prime, and Creed obviously has the upper hand on him, his punches are so convincing, and his speed is noticeably impressive.
This is getting dangerous for Creed.
Are you blind? Are we watching the same fight? L announcer, where's Max Kellerman? These movies are probably one of the most admirable things of his career.
I want Iguodala.
Right after this dumbass announcer says this, she switches up faster than a deadbeat dad when his kid goes to the NBA.
Just incredible. What a turn. What an ending. That's how you go out.
Shut your ass up. This was a good fight. I was a little thrown off at first with the randomness of it, but Conlon will always, in my eyes, be a great opponent. He may not have the brutality or power of some of Creed's other opponents, but his skill and speed continue to be unmatched. However, nowhere near as exciting as their last matchup, and it finished quite early. B tier. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Oh my gosh. This had me on the floor laughing. I'm still laughing about it. I could not believe little Amara Creed, who has been an absolute ray of sunshine up to this point, decided in a matter of milliseconds to throw the meanest right hook I've ever seen in the entire franchise. I'm absolutely dead. Like, this is so funny to me. S tier. D. And what do you know? The kid fight tier list is complete, with Amara Creed taking the top spot over Rocky Jr. Round of applause to that girl. Bless her heart. I didn't think Felix stood a chance at winning this fight whatsoever. Just look at the size of this dude compared to Jonathan Majors. And let me say this now, I loved Jonathan Majors in this movie. Oh shoot, they're coming for your help! No! You need to leave! I think that he's a great actor who, yes, has had some trouble with the law and violence, but he did a great job with this role, and he was tearing through Hollywood up until his accusations. His physical mannerisms just speak to me as a disgruntled man who still has something to prove to the world. He doesn't care how much hate he gets or how people look at him because he's so sure that he is destined for this. I honestly can say that I feel that from the way he walks, talks, and yes, fights. Okay, back to the fight. What is this goofy intro, man? Like, what happened if fighters just were walking up into the ring with no theatrics and locking in? Oh gosh, I'm sounding like an unk. Still don't get why he keeps hating on his day one. Majors is a beast in this fight. He seems confident and imposing. The way he walks around the ring while Felix still has his guard up, and the way he never shows any fear, makes him a scary opponent. Overall, Dame's exaggerated swagger of a black teen. I also think the cheap shots he takes speaks to his character, but some of them are way too blatant to not be called by the ref. Like, come on, it's right there. How do you not see it, ref?
Feels like Chavez is back in the fight.
No, he's not. He is not in this fight. The announcers in this movie are F tier. Dame dominates Chavez and he wins the belt, and Creed is salty for some reason. Who knows anymore? Like, for real. I feel like this is a win for Creed. I'm not sure why everyone is so mad at Dame winning. It's a similar story the way Rocky had a shot in the title, except Rocky wasn't as cheap as Dame. Rocky was way more likable, but hey, he came from nothing and got the belt just like Dame, man. Like, what the f? Anyways, this was more of a street fight than a boxing match. I like to see some finesse in these matches, and I felt like this was just a fight of who was more powerful and not more skilled. The motions of this fight were confusing. Since Dame wins, why doesn't Creed take him on as a part of Creed Athletics? That's his boy, right? I get that Dame isn't the best guy, but I think the reason he turned out this way can be pinned on Adonis. Mid-fight, but Jonathan Majors is a great actor and villain, if you would call him that here. C tier. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the final fight. It's been a long journey, but we are here. This has been an extensive tier list, an impressive one to say the least. So let's finish this out with the one last final fight, Dame versus Adonis Creed. Adonis is the hero of this fight, but I would argue that they are both bad in their own ways, once again. Yes, Creed is facing his past by defeating Dame, but doesn't he do that in the last two films? It just, all the same old shit just shoved back into our faces. Dame is still a cheap fighter, so he's going for his arm again. And while both of these men are obviously in fantastic shape, I feel like neither of them hit that hard in this fight. And some of these punches just seem out of their reach, making it less authentic. Also, they go into this silent 1v1 where the whole crowd disappears. I appreciate how they're always trying some sort of new visual effects from each movie, but this goes on for way too long. Way too long. It's still going, isn't it? Yeah. And I don't think this effect has a place in this movie. For some reason, jail bars pop up, and a lot of the punches in this sequence seem weak to me. Going from Creed versus Drago to this was a little bit of a letdown in my opinion, but the shot at the end of the round was cool when they both hit each other at the same time, but still, neither of them seem to be affected by each other's punches, so it just feels like they're swinging just a swing with no end in sight. I need some sort of progression in this fight, and I haven't gotten that yet. Also, Dame cheats way too much to be allowed to continue. Going into this fight, wouldn't they have been prepared on each fighter so they know who to look out for, like the refs? Oh yeah, watch out for the guy who arm bars, holds, and takes cheap shots. Nah, he's chill, we're gonna let him do that. Like, what? Bro. Finally, we get a power punch and Dame knocks Creed down with a body shot to the gut. This is the first time someone got knocked down, and that makes it not as gritty in my book. Adonis gets up, and then he kind of just lines up a single punch that Dame pretty much allowed him to take. Then he lays into him and eventually knocks him down. Pretty boring end. Very, very average fight. Cool visuals and an anticlimactic end. C tier. And there you have it. The complete tier list of every single fight in the Rocky franchise. Were there any surprises for you? Would you rank the meat higher? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you. Wait. What? Huh? What about that thing that you promised at the end of the video? And stay tuned for a surprise tier list at the end. Oh yeah, I was clickbaiting. No. Oh, you thought I was lying? No way. Rexy always delivers. Some of you were probably thinking through the video, oh, Rex, if you're ranking every time a punch is thrown, wouldn't you count sparring? You're damn right about that, because we've got the ultimate sparring match tier list from the Rocky series. We are ranking all 13 sparring matches from the series. So it's time for speed ranking. Let's go. Starting off with Rocky 2, we got a great first sparring match, if not one of the best. Source, trust me bro, you'll see. Apollo lands some of the meanest punches here and absolutely destroys the competition for the first of our sparring matches.
Come on, you gotta ease up on these sparring partners. You just get me another man.
Cold. And then, when they do bring him out another one, he does the same thing to this guy, if not worse. A tier. Rocky didn't realize that I was going to be ranking his sparring matches too, and he was caught a little off guard. Got a little camera shy, I guess, and he wasn't locked in. But seriously, Rocky doesn't land a single punch in this match. He's beyond cooked for this tier list. F tier. In Rocky 3, Rocky got over his tier list fear, and he locked in for this match. It was really one-sided. The other guy was just eating punches, no pushback at all. D tier. After the record of Apollo Creed vs. Rocky is currently sitting at 1-1, it is only right that this goes to a third match in a best of 3 series. Sparring style. Apollo is probably the GOAT of sparring matches. He just demolishes anyone who stands toe-to-toe with him. I actually think his sparring record is 3-0. So Apollo lets Rocky have all his pent-up frustrations from their last 2 fights and ultimately makes Rocky quit. What makes this match great is the quote that follows.
There is no tomorrow.
Hell yeah, Apollo. C tier. Psych, you thought. One of the biggest edges of all time. But we actually find out in Creed that Apollo actually beats Rocky in this match, so that makes him 4-0. He's actually the GOAT sparring partner. But no punches land in this one, sadly, so F tier. On to Rocky number trash, we've got Tommy Gun. Surprisingly, this one isn't as bad as everything else in this movie. It helps that it's the highlight of the scene since it's our first time watching Tommy fight. Some good punches are thrown from both ends, and then it ends by Tommy going psycho and trying to kill a man in a sparring match. We get a glimpse into his character here, and it's actually a good setup for what's to come and who he is. A tier. Jumping all the way to Creed, Adonis is trying to prove himself, but he's just being young and dumb again. He offers his Mustang if anyone can land a punch on him, and the first match he actually knocks the dude down. This was the first sparring match of the movie. At this point, you could actually see the progression of times here. However, too quick, barely anything to work with, C tier. And then right after this, literally seconds after it, he makes the mistake of saying, "Who's next?" Along strolls the number 2 boxer in the world. What are the chances? This is a fantastic sparring match. There is something on the line, making tensions high. Choreography is great, as always in the Creed movies, and we get some nice slow-mos to emphasize some of Wheeler's punches. S tier for sure. A very quick match that ends with Adonis getting mad and shoving his opponent when he can't help himself. C tier. 2 movies left, here we go. This was a very unique sparring match that held a lot of significance for the final fight. I appreciate the importance of this training style, but there's not much to this match except for who can take more hits before tapping out. B tier. Another fatality for Victor Drago against bum number 3 of the film. Bro face planted the guy. Absolutely no chance, comedic at this point. C tier. Their first match between Dame and Felix was with some headgear in a gym. Similar tones to their official fight. Felix starts with the upper hand, Dame gets frustrated, so he takes a cheap shot at Felix. Fight ends. Also, if his mom could recognize his cheap shot immediately, then how come a professional referee couldn't when he was in the ring? C tier. Victor Drago is now boxing again, and he's fully recovered, apparently. If I'm Creed and I want to play it safe, I'm sending the big gun straight at Dame and giving him some brain damage from Victor Drago. Lobotomy style, boy. And when Dame loses to Drago, Creed wins by transitive theory because he beat Drago before. So f you, Dame. Try getting a job with 3 brain cells. Okay, seriously, Mark Andrews is back, and Creed squares off for 3rd time against the Brute. Victor pummels him for the first part of the fight before Creed unstraps. Hey, yo! And locks in. This was annoying to rank because it's broken up by the training montage, so there are little 5-second clips in between him running. And for that, this barely counts in my book, but this sparring match was good until the montage fully began. So, D tier. Voila! There's the list. Oh, I've seen enough fists through faces. Time to put this fist through a wall. I'm done. Peace. Subscribe.
Merry Xmas, yo, yo, yo.